Yearbooks and superlatives, we go to the NFC East and of course start with the reigning Super Bowl champs. Here's Bill Barnwell back with his superlative for the Eagles.
The Eagles are most likely to inspire jealousy around the NFL. And it's not just those Super Bowl rings, but as Joe Burrow put it, they're paying everybody. Well, he's about half right. They are paying pretty much everyone on offense, where they'll earn more than $217 million this year. Makes them the most expensive offense in NFL history. But the defense is 31st in cash spending. We've seen guys like Josh Sweat and CJ Gardner-Johnson leave this offseason. The Eagles are going to rely on those young defenders who played so well during the Super Bowl run to be the core of that team in 2025.
All right, Sam, most likely to inspire jealousy in other teams. What about those missing pieces on defense? How big a concern is that?
Well, the best part about this young defense is that they have an old defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio coached the #1 defense when it comes to points allowed or yards allowed, #2 when it came to points allowed. Even though some of the veterans are gone, the young superstars are the guys who shined in the Super Bowl. Think Cooper DeJean, think Quinyon Mitchell. And oh, by the way, the Eagles dominated again in the draft. Jahad Campbell is going to be a star. And so, yes, some of the players on defense are younger, but they're experienced and they have an older veteran coach to lead them along the way.
Yeah, they allowed the second fewest points per game last season after allowing the third most the year prior. That's what kind of difference Fangio made. Now to Washington, where Bill's superlative for the Commanders is most likely to eat an early dinner and go to sleep at a sensible time. This is one of my favorites. Several key pieces for the Commanders are over 30. Of course, though, their star is 24 years old. Their quarterback and head coach Dan Quinn spoke about the challenges Jaden Daniels may face in his second season.
There's a lot of playbook that people haven't seen, number one, featuring some new players and into some different spots. And that's what's kind of fun about now, exploring some new thoughts, some new ideas and some scheme while sharpening on the things like, can I go from, really good at something to elite?
It's so funny. It could go either way, right? Because we've seen quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, for a variety of reasons, some fall off in their second season. What do you expect from Daniels?
Yeah, C.J. Stroud is the comparison here because he plateaued in his second year. He didn't really regress, but it was a problem. There was a confluence of a bad offensive line and lazy play calling. I don't think you're going to get either of those in Washington this year. We know what Jaden Daniels did well in his rookie year. He was able to excel at every area of the field. 52 forced missed tackles as a runner, led all quarterbacks, and didn't really have any turnover-worthy plays to speak of. So for me, when I look at this, I think about Josh Connerly, their first-round pick from Oregon. He is so important. He needs to win the right tackle battle, let the other guys kick inside. That is going to give them a lot of flexibility, and it will be a good offensive line in Washington.
Yeah, listen, he was sacked the 6th most of any quarterback last season. Meanwhile, we go to the Meadowlands, where Bill has the Giants as most likely to throw deep more often. Obviously not a team known for explosive plays. When Daniel Jones was at quarterback, head coach Brian Daboll spoke yesterday on how he's going to share the reps in that new quarterback room.
Yeah, they'll all get reps at various spots. So we got a plan for that, and we've been working that since they've been here. But they'll all get reps.
That was really insightful.
Thanks, Brian.
Mike T. We have Russell Wilson. We have Jackson Dart. We have Jameis Winston. How should they navigate this?
Yeah, that's
for everyone.
That's the Brian Daboll, our quarterback coach, who would walk in and be like, "That Kevin Clark wrote something negative about us." That's sort of like that,
Exactly.
the smugness we got. Look, if I was them, New York Jets, 2009, we put in Mark Sanchez, never looked back, went to back-to-back championship games. I would do that with Jackson Dart. If I'm the Giants, I'd rather go 6-11 with an ascending Jackson Dart than win 7 games with an aging Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart's your future. Just put in him, let him go. You drafted Cam Scatterbo, you got Tyrone Tracy, you got a star in Malik Neighbors. Feed into these young offensive skill players. That's your future.
Dart, start of the season? You
right
started
now.
right away.
Day
okay.
1, snap 1, rep 1. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. I love it. All right, finally, Dallas. Expectations always high there. Bill, the Cowboys superlative, please.
The Dallas Cowboys are most likely to trust their old scouting reports, even when a player has struggled in the NFL. We saw them make a trade last year for Jonathan Mingo, who would struggle with Carolina, thinking they could turn this former second-round pick around. Cowboys made a lot of moves like that this offseason. They trade for Kyer Elam and Kenneth Murray, 2 former first-round picks who have struggled so far on defense. They signed Peyton Turner away from the Saints and a former top 5 pick in Solomon Thomas, and then of course the big move for George Pickens. The Cowboys are betting that these players are going to be a lot better in Dallas than they've been elsewhere.
Sam, I don't know about this strategy. Is betting on players who have not performed as well as their initial evaluation, is that a good idea?
I actually hate the strategy. I don't think that strategy is a good strategy. But what is a good strategy is the way that they've drafted. They have 3 first-round picks that will be starting this year. And so if you want to be a dominant football team, you start in the trenches. I get it. The running back room isn't as experienced. Jaden Blue may be getting more of those reps, the rookie out of Texas. But no matter what names you see on your screen, they'll be running behind 5 offensive linemen, 3 first-round picks, and also Cooper Beebe at center, who's a 3rd-round pick who was top 10 in pass protection. And so I don't love the strategy of trying to go and have this redemption tour of players who haven't proven themselves. But building on the offensive line and having those running backs on your screen run behind them could help Brian Schottenheimer have another top #1 rushing offense in the NFL.
I think Dak is in the developmental phase, and that sounds crazy for a guy that's played that much, but like there's things that we're tweaking with Dak. The minute these quarterbacks think that they've figured it all out, that's when it's probably time for them to think about doing something different, because the way defense attack in this league, it makes it almost impossible to ever relax.
Okay, I want to be really fair about this. Okay, he was initially asked if Will Greer was in his developmental phase, and basically that was his response. Everybody is in theirs, including Dak. What do you think about what he said?
We're all in our developmental phase, right? I'm going to chalk this up to coach speak, okay? I'm going to assume he doesn't really believe that Dak Prescott is still trying to make huge developmental leaps as a quarterback. We can always get better, but I think he understands that Dak is established in this league. I'm going to give a compliment sandwich about the Cowboys roster, okay? Number 1 is that George Pickens is the 3rd best vertical receiver in football over the last few years behind Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. That's good. The bad news is that's not enough. And that's not enough in the NFC East, where I'm not seeing a huge path for them to be anything better than 3rd in that division, because you're not going to catch the Commanders, who are on the ascent, and you're not going to catch the Eagles, who have the best roster in football. Hope is not a strategy. And as Bill outlined, you're just seeing too many flyers on guys where we say, hey, we hope we can get here. I have to close the compliment sandwich. George Pickens is a very funny, engaging guy. There.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Hope may not be
sugar on that.
yeah. Hope may not be a strategy, Hannah, but getting good players back from IR is meaningful.
Sure. Okay.
And when you look at guys like DeMarvion, Overshown, Trayvon Diggs, those are really good players that are coming back. Donovan Ezeraku. I think this defense, Matt Eberflus was a really good defensive coordinator. Obviously, it didn't work out as a head coach, but I think this defense will be sneaky good guys. Now, look, offensively, totally agree. It's a little bit of a work in progress. But I think this defense will play better and make this team more competitive than maybe they're getting credit for.
Yeah, he wants that attacking physical offense. We'll see if they've done enough at running back, though, too, as well, to make that a reality. Time for one more thing. We're going to go back to Shotty. He describes a cool moment today between his new wide receiving duo, CeeDee Lamb, and the aforementioned George Pickens.
There was a play, and it really wasn't anything George did, but we're in the red zone, and we're in kind of a spread formation. We hit him for a touchdown. Joe did on a little a bender, like a little skinny post down in the low red zone, and CeeDee was on the other side. And when CeeDee broke out and he looked back to see where the ball went, and he saw George in the end zone, he kind of dragged his toes up. CeeDee was like, yes! So I think his excitement for knowing that we've added some pieces which will add to the competition, it was cool to see a guy like CeeDee be excited. And those two guys' relationship is awesome.
What do you think, fellas? Kevin?
I'll just say this. It's good for us to have another good player on the Cowboys who has a contract up, because that means more topics for our shows.
Typically, when you acquire players in the last year of their deal, they're going to play really good. This is going to be a really tough duo to defend.
Yep.
Sam?
Relationship. They'll play for one another. I can't wait to watch it.